What SimplyNature has is PPARs agonist. So PPARs are nuclear receptors. Okay, so when these agonists, when these ligands attaches to that nuclear receptor, genes are activated. When these genes are activated, when these specific PPAR receptors are activated, no, they can actually suppress angiogenesis. And specific nuclear receptors are PPAR alpha and gamma. So when these are activated, angiogenesis can be inhibited. Go for a consultation, okay? So I can teach you more specifically.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Simply Healed by SimplyNature. Again, we have our regular special guest, Dr. Jansen. Welcome, Dr. Jansen.
Yeah, glad to be here again.
Yeah, and today Dr. Jansen has a very exciting topic for all those of you out there who have loved ones who are suffering from cancer, or you yourself are suffering from cancer. You know, Dr. Jansen, one thing I noticed that is very strange and very surprising is that cancer is such a lethal, dangerous disease, right?
Yeah.
Once you get cancer, you'll be afraid. You'll be afraid, your family will be afraid. You know what I noticed? Many people can't tell me how does cancer kill. They don't actually know how, even cancer patients don't know how cancer kills them. They just know that it kills them. I'm very surprised by the lack of understanding of something that is so scary and that we spend so much money trying to treat cancer if you have cancer, but you never understood how it worked. Yeah. So how would you know whether your treatment is correct if you don't understand how cancer kills you?
Yeah.
So I'm very happy today we're going to talk about a topic called angiogenesis. Yeah, that's a huge, big scientific medical word, but it's very important. So to all the listeners out there who are cancer patients or who have family members that are cancer patients, I just think it's a great blessing that Dr. Jansen is going to share with us and help us understand another aspect of cancer. So Doc, take it away.
Okay, so we're going to talk about angiogenesis tonight. No, so angiogenesis is a huge medical term. So what does it literally mean? No, so from angiogenesis has two words going together. So angio, which is blood vessel, and then genesis, which is to create. So angiogenesis is the creation of new blood vessels. So that's what it means. Now, for new blood vessels to form, no, there's a specific growth factor that the body needs to secrete around that particular area of tissue. So that substance or that growth factor is called VEGF, or vascular endothelial growth factor. Okay, so a lot of our current treatments right now targets that specific growth factor. Okay,
why is angiogenesis important to cancer?
Yeah, angiogenesis is very important for cancer because this is how cancer grows and also metastasizes to the other parts of the body. So cancer does not just the cancer cells doesn't just break away, doesn't break away like a snowball, right?
Okay.
So it has to grow its roots.
Okay.
And the cancer spreads through that roots.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
So that is how angiogenesis forms.
Doc, I have a question. If a cancer tumor doesn't spread, if it just stays where it is, does that mean, is that less dangerous? Can a cancer patient survive like for the rest of their life? I mean, if you're 70 years old and you have colon cancer, if it doesn't spread, will it kill you? Or
there are some nuances to this, no? The good news is the prognosis is better because the cancer cells doesn't just spread to other parts of the body. So we have certain conditions for this, specifically ovarian tumors or ovarian masses, okay, or ovarian new growths. Okay, so these ovarian new growths can grow as big as a basketball.
Wow!
I have seen those. I have assisted in surgeries as women.
Wow, that's huge.
Looking pregnant, and then once we open them up, it's a tumor.
Wow.
Inside their stomach. Once we remove that tumor weighs around 10 kilos.
Wow,
You
that's
can just
amazing.
imagine 10 kilos.
You can imagine how much blood vessels need to be grown
Yeah,
to feed,
yeah.
to feed
feed
that
that.
tumor to
Yeah.
be that size.
You can just imagine. And then,
Wow.
of course, that person really feels very uncomfortable because that lady is carrying that amount of weight for a very long period of time. No, so these tumors, of course, has its own danger because number one, it can cause torsion. Okay, so the tumor can twist around itself, then the tumor can die, then that tumor can become infected, and you can die of sepsis. Okay, so that tumor can also interrupt with your bowels. Okay, it can make you move your bowel more difficult. Okay, it can also interact with your urination. Okay, so it can make you urinate more often and feel that you are about to urinate more frequently. Okay,
Alright.
so those are just some of the side effects of that. Of course, it can also impede blood flow. So that is going to be much more dangerous if it impedes a main artery. No, so it can actually cut off the blood supply to some part of your body.
So actually, cancer kills a patient by literally interfering with the physical operation
Yeah.
of your body.
Basically with the anatomy. Okay, so
alright.
for these tumors that grow really big, these tumors usually doesn't just separate off with the main tumor. So that's what makes it treatable because it can easily be removed surgically, and you have a good prognosis. Once the tumor is gone, then you can live. Okay, but for malignant tumors, that's what makes it more difficult to treat because you don't see the microscopic cells, the microscopic cancer cells. You cannot see them in imaging studies because they are so small that it cannot be detected by the machine. Okay, so that is why we have systemic chemotherapies to eradicate all of the cancer cells. Yeah.
All right, Doc. Sorry, I interrupted you. Let's go back to
Okay.
your.
Let's
game
go back
plan.
to angiogenesis. Okay,
Yeah.
so angiogenesis is how tumors grow. So a normal cell becomes a cancer cell, okay, through mutation. Then this cancer cell divides. It evades immunity. Okay, so it evades your immune system that cannot be detected by your immune system. Okay, and then it has to grow. For it to grow, it needs to have nutrition. It needs to have oxygen. There will come a time that this tumor cannot grow anymore because the amount of nutrient and oxygen that it requires is already very high. So when this point comes, then the tumor has to grow its own blood supply for it to sustain its growth. Okay, so remember, you can just imagine this tumor is a very active, rapidly replicating entity. So it has to have a high amount of metabolic it has a high metabolic capacity or potential. So this is hypermetabolic. Okay, so for that to happen, it has to have its own
Blood supply.
Okay, so usually tumors cannot grow beyond 2 millimeters without its dedicated blood supply. So you can just imagine beyond 2 millimeters.
So if you have a 2 centimeter tumor, it already has its
Yes.
own blood supply.
Yes, in fact, in cancer staging, 2 millimeters is usually the cutoff for increasing the staging from from stage 0 or stage 1 to
Stage
the next stage. Okay, but another magic number is 2 centimeters and 4 centimeters. Usually these numbers are what separates the previous staging to the next staging, the different stagings.
All right.
Okay, so it has something to do with angiogenesis, and of course, as you know, the last stage of tumor development is literally cancer. Okay, so cancer starts when cancer cells penetrate the basement membrane. Okay, so again, it would need a supply of nutrients and a waste disposal system. In order to do this, the cancer has to go to generate angiogenic growth factors. And when the blood supply is established, the tumor would now be able to metastasize. Okay?
Wow. So once they has their own blood vessel, they now have access to
Your bloodstream.
Your bloodstream.
Your bloodstream. Now,
It's like the tumor creates its own skyway to connect to ETSA.
Yeah. It's literally, it acts like a parasite. It acts like a parasite, literally.
So I hope this is helping
Mhm.
everyone, those who have cancer, to better understand what's happening in your body.
Now, here's how it kills you.
Okay.
Now, you already have a growing cancer. Now, it already has a dedicated blood supply.
Okay.
Now, a portion of that tumor um, uh, s- uh, gets dislodged, enters your bloodstream, then it gets thrown to some part of your body. You now have you now have stage 4 cancer
Because yes.
because there's metastasis already.
Wow.
Okay? So, when this metastasizes, again, this tumor implants to that tissue. And then it again
Grows.
spreads, it again grows, invades your the tissue matrix, then produces its own blood supply again. Now, when this does that, of course, the body, that tumor isn't supposed to be there.
Mm.
So our body treats it as a foreign object, a space occupying lesion, so to speak. Okay? So when that happens, our body's reaction is to have inflammation over that area. So when our body have hyperinflammatory reaction, then that is when you begin to experience the symptoms of
And when you
weight
have
loss,
hyperinflammation in the area, it's easier to create more new blood vessels. Is that? Would that?
yeah, because if you have very high inflammation inside your body, then free radicals will just shoot up. When free radicals shoot up, a lot of your tissue will be injured. Okay, this forms edema around that tumor. When edema forms, then again, the space occupying lesion will increase in size. Then you feel pain because when that mass interacts with the nerve,
Presses
or
the
it
nerve.
presses the nerve, then
That's
you
the
will feel a
pain.
lot of pain.
Oh, that's
That
where the
is-
pain is from cancer. Wow.
That is really very painful.
So just to summarize this part, I love this because it's happening here in Philippines because we built a new connection of Skyway from SLX to NLEX.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, what happens is that your tumor builds its own Skyway to access ETSA, and then it throws a car. Right, and the car goes down the Skyway, goes on the
Yeah.
ETSA, and ends up in QC.
Yeah.
From Alabang suddenly is in QC. So that's exactly how your cancer spreads. It creates its own expressways.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. So Doc, thank you for sharing about angiogenesis. And I like the Skyway thing, and that's how it spreads. So right now we know that angiogenesis, or the creation of blood vessels, is very important to the growth of a cancer tumor. How does this understanding help our listeners out there fight cancer? Does this give us a strategy to better understand what kind of protocols we should do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now we know that angiogenesis is central to the progression of cancer. Now we have our own protocols to fight angiogenesis. So currently, what we have are pharmaceuticals, natural products, and food. Okay, so first I will discuss the pharmaceuticals. So our pharmaceuticals that we have right now are bevacizumab, axitinib, everolimus, lenvatinib, ramucirumab, sunitinib. So these are monoclonal antibodies and tyrosine kinase inhibitors. So these are very essential. This is an essential part of your protocol.
So this is what an oncologist would be prescribing to the
These
patient.
are what oncologists will be prescribing to you. And these are very important.
Now you know why the oncologist is prescribing these to you, to stop the growth of blood vessels that feed your tumor.
Yeah. Now, given this, I know these drugs are crazy expensive. Now, it is also important that you also do your part. So, I have here some anti-angiogenic foods that you can eat. Okay? So, just take a picture or get a screenshot of this table. Go buy these foods, eat these foods, because these foods have been proven in the laboratory that it can actually inhibit angiogenesis.
What is the most common food that they can get here in the Philippines?
Oh, okay. We have here bok choy.
Oh, bok choy.
Bok
So
choy.
those of you who love Chinese food, there you go.
Yeah.
Bok choy is good for you.
Spices, we have garlic, we have ginger, we have green tea, we have mushrooms, we have olives, onions. So these vegetables are really common here in the Philippines. We have spinach, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, turmeric, black pepper. These are
Wow, these are
foods
actually not
really-
only common, they're actually delicious.
Yeah,
I think that's great news to cancer patients. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it's also very important for you to not eat foods that promote cancer growth. Okay, so these foods are usually of animal origin. So it's very important for you not to eat pro-androgenic foods. No, so this is not something that can balance out. Of course.
Also, you can't say because I eat a lot of onions, I can eat some baked steak.
Yeah.
All right.
It doesn't work that way, okay? So you're
All
just going around in circles, okay? So it doesn't work that way. It's very important that you adhere in a strict diet, okay?
Alright.
But of course, for you to learn more with these diet, you can go for a consultation, okay? So I can teach you more specifically.
Yes.
Okay.
So Doc Jansen is available for consult. Just click on the Facebook Messenger, message Sheila. That I believe the instructions are also pinned. And tonight we have 3. Doc Jansen's gonna give out 3 free consults. All right. So that's a perfect opportunity for you to ask more questions.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So we're going for the last part.
Mm.
So we also have these PPARs agonists, no? Okay, which is what I love with SimplyNature's protocol. So what SimplyNature has is actually made out of microalgae. So it's not synthetic. It's made from real food, whole food. Okay, so there's nothing pharmaceutical about this. This was not altered in any way. So this is as natural as it can get, no? But of course, the pollutants have been removed already. Okay, what SimplyNature has is PPARs agonist. So PPARs is actually nuclear receptor are nuclear receptors. Okay, so when these ligands attaches to that nuclear receptor, genes are activated. So when these genes are activated, when these specific PPAR receptors are activated, no, they can actually suppress angiogenesis. And specific nuclear receptors are PPAR alpha and gamma. So when these are activated, angiogenesis can be inhibited. But of course, the question is the dosing. Okay, the dose has to be high. Okay, in order for us to get some substantial effects. Okay.
So that's the difference. Live a healthy lifestyle so that your body works in the right direction as your treatment.
Yeah.
But for the treatment, you've got to have I guess the word is not your natural dosing. You even if you want to eat strawberries, which is good for esophagus cancer, it's not 1 or 2 strawberries.
Yeah, it's not.
It's quite a lot of. I think at least 20, if I'm not
more than 20.
more than that.
More.
So same, right? Natural therapy works, but you gotta have a high dose, and that's where taking our extracts makes it easier, so that you don't have to eat so much microalgae, right?
Yeah.
So and Doc also today. Doc, I really appreciate it that you always give us the pharmaceutical, the food, and then the supplement. Because I honestly believe it's not one or the other.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's not.
We are treating cancer, so we have to use all of our weapons against it.
Yeah,
right?
if this gives you 5% more chance, this gives you another 10, this gives you 20. You add it all together,
right?
you get a better chance of surviving cancer.
Significantly more chance.
Yeah. So I'm definitely for all our listeners out there, I'm definitely for if we can treat cancer totally naturally, that will always be ideal, right?
Yeah.
Nobody loves to go to the hospital. But I always appreciate that Dr. Jansen shares a complete view. So there is always a need, especially if you're on stage 4, to understand that drugs and the hospital, the oncologists are our friends. Even if you are a total natural advocate, doctors are still your friends. In terms of crisis, fourth stage, aggressive cancer, you're gonna need all the best tools available
Yeah,
that you
absolutely.
can. Right? So, Dr. Jansen, thank you. Today so interesting. I know. I hope all our listeners out there, you learned something new about cancer today. Something that, and if you want to have more questions, Dr. Jansen is available for consult. And we have a special relationship with Dr. Jansen. He's a good friend of mine. So I want to support the educating of cancer patients, understanding what protocol they're taking. So I appreciate Dr. Jansen spending his time. So what we're going to do is that those of you who go for the paid consult, because there was only 3 free consults given out today, the rest who are paid, going for the paid consults, here's the good news, right? Whatever the consultation fee that you give, that you pay for Dr. Jansen's time, that will be considered a consumable. It will be directly discounted from any SimplyNature products that you buy, right? So if you go for the 1,000 peso consult, which gives you a lot of Dr. Jansen's time for you to fully understand your situation, that 1,000 is 100% redeemable for SimplyNature products. This is what we want to do in partnership with Dr. Jansen, because we believe that in your fight with cancer, you need to know what's going on. And Dr. Jansen does a great job in explaining it to you in an easy to understand way. All right, so thank you very much, Dr. Jansen. And Dr. Jansen, next time, give us a teaser. I've been talking to some cancer patients. They've been asking me CT scan, MRI scan. What's the difference? Which is safer? Or how does it work? How come I didn't catch my cancer sooner? Why is it easy or hard to detect cancer? Can you share that more on next time?
Yeah, sure.
So next time we'll share on how to detect and do imaging of cancer tumors.
Okay.
All right. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye bye.